It's Thursday. It's a minute or two after 7:30, and therefore live. Well, how are we all? What's been going on? What are you up to? Do tell. Unless it's filthy, in which case just send me a postcard or something. Um, but yeah, what is everybody up to? I don't know about anybody there. Are you all being blown and battered by Kieran? No, no, Morris. No, I mean the storm, Kieran, not your special friend, Kieran. Thank you. Yes, because it is as wild and woolly as a Welsh house party out there. So, what's anybody up to? What you doing? Please do tell. Hello, Biff. How you doing? Hiya, Lee. You all right, matey? How's it? Hello, Nick. How's it going, buddy? I'm trying to think of anything interesting to tell you at the minute because since last time I've done pretty much cock on, bugger all. Oh, I ordered a new interior fan blower motor thing for the Mercedes because this time of year it's no good when you walk from the from work to the car, get best wet through, get in the car and bash the windows steam up, and the fan doesn't work. So I ordered that on Friday. Did you buy anything at the swap meet? Oh, well, we'll get to that. Um, so I ordered this, I think, last Friday. I expected it Monday. On Tuesday, I got an email saying, "Oh, you weren't in when we didn't tell you that we were going to be there, so we've left it at the off license." And they did. They'd left my parcel at the off license. I don't know what the neighbours have been saying about me, but the thing is, the off license is at least half a mile away. The neighbour's house is literally 2 feet in that direction. But no, they left it at the off license. So they said, "Oh, you have to go to the off license and bring some ID." I thought, bloody hell, I haven't had to do that for 30 odd years. So anyway, I have my blower motor, and you'll be pleased to hear I got straight on the case, and it's still in its box on the back seat of the car where I left it. So that was Friday anyway. So yes, Sunday, even Sunday. Oh yes, Saturday. Did anybody go to Flame and Thunder? Because I didn't, obviously. However, I went to the Northern Swap Meet on Sunday, and I was pleased to see a few more traders there. I mean, last year was just arse. It was cold and it belted with rain to the extent that there were no puddles. Because it's like you don't get puddles in the Atlantic, do you? So yeah, it was just a wash last year. This year there was heavy rain, but the previous night, so that when the punters got there, in my case, for no good reason, me and James went up lift shed, and I was yakking to James and coming up the M18 and got onto the M62 heading west. Now I've driven up to York as was and Melbourne as is several hundred times, and that is the first time I have ever got on the M62 going the wrong bastard way. So anyway, upshot, by the time I got to, it's a long way from the M18 junction to the next junction west. So we got to the swap meet a little bit late, but I don't think we missed much. I did see some bargains actually. Nothing. I didn't go looking for anything. I just went for a ride out. The only thing I bought a car radio. I thought this will be handy because the CD player in the van doesn't work. But considering mostly I just plug an MP3 player into it anyway, not a big issue. I bought a few bits, nothing that I actually want or need. That is why we go to the swap meet. So I bought a radio. It was a CD player for the van, and then on the way back to the car, James says, "Oh, it's not a CD player." What? It's just a radio and an MP3 player. Oh, steaming tits! So not one step further forward am I with that. But hey ho, what can I do? So Yeah, James bought a couple of bits and bats of useful gubbins, and including he bought the truck manifold. Oh, sorry, the intake manifold of an LS truck motor for something like 10 quid. And now the thing is with the truck manifolds is they're bloody tall. They really are, because in a truck, bonnet clearance not really an issue. They're big vehicles, so the intake manifold can be quite tall. I'm not sure exactly why he wanted it. He did tell me. So yeah, he bought that. Apart from a medium rare bacon cub, yes, I also had one of those, and thought, a good vet could have this back on its feet in a couple of minutes. But I ate it anyway. I went back and I said, the bacon in this roll is undercooked. And they said, how do you figure that? I said, it's eaten the fucking roll. Anyway, what was I with? Yeah, so he bought that, and he bought like a 16 amp, 3-pin, 4-pin plug and socket. That's bacon butty. What? Cobb. Oh, here we bloody go. We're not on about how to navigate your way around Britain by what locals call a lump of bread, are we? Oh dear. So yes, other than that, I don't think I bought anything. But like I say, I did see some bargains, and there was some good stuff to be had. More to the point, I saw lots of friends and had a chit chat. I delivered. I'm lending a sump to somebody who wants to trial fit a motor in an early Falcon Ranchero, as it happens, which sounds interesting. And I finally returned the GoPro to Mike Pusey that I borrowed off of him for Street Weekend. So what's that, coming up on 5 months ago? Thought it was about time I handed it back. In fact, yes, the only thing I saw that I thought, ooh, was a set of really, really rather pretty roller rockers for a small block Ford that was on Mike's stand. And I didn't ask how much they were or anything, because I thought, no, you don't need them, you don't need them, you don't need them. And later on I thought, bugger it, I'm going back, and I went back and they've been sold. So that was my decision made for me. Harumph. Tea cake. Oh, here we bloody go. Now down here a tea cake is like, there's like a hot cross bun without the cross on it. It's just a bun. Except it's not a bun, it's a tea cake, and it's not a bread bun. No, it's a fucking currant bun. I do not know. Look, round here they call them cobs and all these. So. I'm not arguing about cobs. So yeah, it was a good old ride out, and then yeah, just headed home. And since I bought the yes, I'll say since or just before? Anyway, I decided I was going to order this part for the Mercedes. So the fan motor tea cakes have currants in. Thank you. Like I say, it's a hot cross bun without the cross on it. We all like hot buns, don't we? Yes, thank you, Morris. Put them away. Bloody hell! Oh yeah. So since I ordered the fan thing for the Mercedes, the dashers stopped working. Well, no, it hasn't stopped working. It works roughly every other journey. Only the gay ones have currants. I don't know about that. Dried fruit is neither here nor there. So yes, I found somebody who's breaking a 90s C class in near me, up in Swad. So I might have to take a ride out there at some point soon. Although I also wanted the big bracket that holds the wiper linkage, and he says, "Oh, you can have it. You can have the motor, the linkage, and the bracket all for 70 quid." I thought, I don't want all that other shit. I just want that bracket, and he's reluctant to sell it to me. Oh, fruit? Oh yes, and buttered buns aren't at all fruity. Um, so yeah, I may have to take a ride up there at some point, and everything was going swimmingly. And then today, you know, when you're queuing up at the garage for the fuel station for the pumps, and you're queuing for this one, and then suddenly the one over there becomes available. Well, a chap at Tesco's fuel station, right down my way, did just that, and he went, "Oh, I'm having that." Sticks it in reverse, basher straight into the Mrs. Fiesta. Fortunately, swad, where a cob's a cob, where the men are men and the sheep are nervous. Yeah, so he backed straight into the little Fiesta, and he caught it on the front wheel, side on. And then he said, "Oh, as it happens, I'd been at the same fuel station in the Mercedes literally 2 minutes previously. And when I got home, I got to a call saying, 'Any chance you can come and have a look at this?' This guy's reversed into it, says, 'Oh, I didn't damage any bodywork, so that's all right then,' and buggered off. I said, 'Did you get his name and number?' 'Yes.' And eldest lass says, 'And I also got a photograph of his registration number.' I thought, good. Because I've tried phoning that number, and would you believe nobody's answering? But yes, when I got there, I had a look at it. I said, on the phone, I said, 'Does it drive?' And they said, 'It's like the wheels aren't round anymore.' I thought, this doesn't sound good. So I got there, front wheels pointing out like that. Had a quick look underneath, and one of the steering tie rods is like that. Stone off crow. So I gave Mrs. the Mercedes and said, 'Go and run your errands.' And I drove the Fiesta home very slowly, 15 miles an hour. It was an absolute lottery in which direction it was going to go. But now it's home, and like I say, although I've left this chap in the offending vehicle a message, if he doesn't respond to me, unfortunately, it's going to have to be an insurance job. And frankly, I think that unless it is just that tie rod, I think they're going to write it off, which is an absolute pisser. But not for any great. I mean, you know, an early 2000s Ford Fiesta is no great loss here or there, but just done all that work on it, put a new cat on it, new clutch in it, and all this other stuff, and you work quite hard on it. And I will be really, really upset if it gets written off the want of a fucking tie rod and some other bits and bats. But like I say, it drives so badly now that I don't think it is just a tie rod. But anyway, we shall see. You never know. He may call back and say, 'I will come round with a big brown bag full of money and you can fix the car.' I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But there we go. So we shall see what happens on that one. Other than that, the most exciting news of today is I've been offered some overtime on Saturday, which could really bloody do with now, yes. So I'm really, really, really hoping that you buggers have done something a lot more interesting than me. And are willing to share. Because, yeah, I've gotten out. If you, like I said, I mentioned this on last week's live, which is that just announced the dates for Street Weekend next year. And everybody is, what a coincidence, I'm doing overtime this weekend too. Nice. Aren't we lucky? Rock and roll. Yes, what are you doing this weekend? More work. And yeah, there's not a lot to be said for it, although, yeah, I could, like I say, I could really do with some extra change. So yeah, like I said, whatever you're doing, please do tell me. Not overtime. Well, you can tell me that if you want, but yes, there you go. That's one thing I'll be doing this weekend, changing the heater fan in the Mercedes. Although if I do any work to the car, it means that some clown's going to reverse into it and write it off. But yeah, I'm trying to think anything else to tell you because, yeah, all I've done is go to work and go to sleep. Oh, I never said more work, just more time at work. All right, so you're taking a good book, are you? Is this a sort of an on-site, on-call thing? Which sounds ace. I I'm in my third holiday inn of the week. Right, okay. I mean, sounds great, but oh, is that? Hi, Neil. How you doing? Um, Neil, Mike. Um, Clot. Yes, on standby. Ah, right. Okay, that makes sense. So, I mean, why holiday inns? Do you have a particular fondness for holiday inns? Bit of a fetish, or are you like some sort of mystery customer sort of thing? Or are you there robbing them, or what? I don't know. Oh dear. What happened to Jean-Claude Damvan? He's parked out there on the drive with. He got sawned on. When was the 31st? Tuesday. Tom Bailey said something about a D&D on Route 66 next October. Yes, it's already been announced. 666 for October 2024. And it looks fantastic, doesn't it? There's a busy geezer. So anyway, yeah, Jean-Claude Damvan, he's just sat out there just sat there flattening his battery and letting rainwater in. Which is what he does best, frankly. He's been practicing for many years. He's got it perfect now. He can leak and discharge like a good one. Yes, thank you, Morris. Yes, yeah, I did get that. So yes, leaking and discharging aside, yeah, that really appeals right now with the bloody pitch black wind and pissing rain out there. And a nice jaunt down Route 66 does have its appeal. Hey ho. And also, yes, what happened today really has put the final marker on any thoughts I may have had of going to Malta at the end of this month. Because what else have we got going on? Well, I think actually this weekend coming is the first weekend on the calendar since like March where there's actually cockle happening. Certainly cockle that I could go to. But yeah, next weekend, the 11th is the Street Eliminator AGM and sort of dinner and awards ceremony, where you have to wear a dinner jacket, which is a jacket that you spill your dinner down. Of course, I don't wear a dinner jacket because Rat Owners are having a get together at Santa Pod May 4th to 6th, Nostalgia Nats. There you go. So I take it this is sort of like an event at the side of, because I tell you what, now you've got some sort of fairly strong one make groups going. I mean, you've got your Outlaw Anglia. In fact, you have your modified 100E bunch. I always thought surely one of the next ones on the list should be a Moggy Minor thing. And maybe that could lead to this. Who knows? But yeah, next weekend. So yeah, Saturday, Street Eliminator Bash. All weekend is horrible, isn't it? I finally have all the gear for the Corvette, including all the minor items and consumables, and it's too dark and too wet to fit them. Yes, it's frankly too dark, too wet to do pretty much anything. I wouldn't chuck Sadiq Khan out in this weather. Who am I kidding? I would. But yeah, so next weekend is the NEC Classic Car Show. Is anybody planning on going along to that? More to the point, is anybody there exhibiting their car at the Classic Car Show at the NEC? I went last year. I'm trying to think whether I did the year before or whether it didn't happen because of COVID. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a show in 20. Can't remember whether there was a show in 21. But either way, I went last year. Um, has to be said, I'm getting a bit sort of deja vu about the whole thing. Don't want to be fitting minor parts to a Corvette. However, the other way around could be a lot of fun. Fit Corvette parts to a Morris Minor. What the hell is this? Oh my life, it's a... I wonder why my chair was rocking. It's a copy of Custom Car from last year. What that's doing on the floor, I do not know. Can anyone afford to go? Well, I think that is part of the problem. I mean, I mentioned it to a mate of mine because I managed to blag a press pass, which was quite an achievement because they really don't give them out to anybody, just anybody. However, being nobody, I still managed to blag one, and which I thought, evening, Nigel, how you doing, man? Which, a bit late, been ordering wood. You mean you've taken one of them little blue bells? Which may be for a floor or an ark. Yeah. Well, I hope if you're going to have two of each sort of animal in there, that it's wiped clean wood. The NEC, I can't afford to pay. Well, yeah. So anyway, I managed to blag a ticket, which is just as well, otherwise I wouldn't have gone. Because I thought, I can afford to pay the car park if I'm not paying for my ticket. As it happens, I managed to blag a free car park ticket on the day as well, because I think they gave it to me just to get rid of me. Here's your ticket now, feck off. And I said to a mate of mine, I said, look, I've got basically, evening, Derek, how you doing, matey? How's things with you? Good to see you on Sunday. I said to a mate of mine, I said, I've got a free, you know, the press pass works all weekend. I said, I went on the Saturday, I said, this ticket works for tomorrow, and I've got a weekend car park pass as well. Do you want to go? And he says, is it worth going? And I went, because now it's kind of getting to the stage where if you've been before, you've seen it. I know that all these car clubs make such an effort with the stands, and there's always something to see, always some new sort of recently finished resto or debut car or barn find or whatever. There's always something new to see, but it does whiff a lot of deja vu. You get the feeling you have seen most of it before. So if you haven't been for a couple of years, it'd be worth going. It's not cheap. And between parking your car and paying to get in, you're probably looking at 50 quid. However, it's something to do that doesn't involve looking out the window at the cold, the dark, the rain and the wind. The sort of weather that only looks good through a pub window. And if you're in the pub, well, by that I mean you have to be inside the pub. That's where I slipped up last time when I got that hypothermia. But yeah, if you're in the pub looking at the weather, you're gonna spend more than 50 quid on drinks, aren't you? So yeah, it's worth a trip along. Like I say, if you haven't been for a while, worth it. There is always something. And like I say, there is always the big hall. They used to have a big hall full of the sort of the American stroke custom and hot rod cars. Now it's a very big hall, and half of it is Americans, customs and hot rods and whatnot. The other half is the sort of the oddball shite that they can't seem to theme into any other halls, which is great because I'm all for oddball shite. I have a great affinity with oddball shite. I've owned a lot of it. So yeah, it still works. But I always thought there is a little hole that they usually put some random bizzle in, like retro Fords and whatnot. And I thought all the American and custom stuff should be in there, and you could theme it up like a sort of a 70s custom show, and it would be great. It would be like almost like a separate show. And there could be a sign at the door saying, anybody who walks in here, looks at a custom car and says, oh, you've ruined that, will not be walking out again. Or similar. Yes. If you're going to say that sort of thing, don't even come in. Just feck off. But there we go, just my idea. And you could have somebody go, that last Super CC's missus, yeah, could have a lass walking around dressed as her. It'd be just like 1979 again. Some things never go out of fashion. In fact, if you believe the stories about that lady, she was a long way ahead of her time. Yes, we're all meeting at the pod, all miners welcome, whether racing or just watching. Well, there you go. The first drag meet I ever went to was at Avon Park. Yes, it was Avon Park back then. And it was the Morris Minor Owners Club custom register meeting. And I was banging my Morris Minors back then. It must have been 88, 89. Haven't been for a couple of years. It was always okay, but it sure isn't a SEMA. Damn right. Well, and that's the thing, is that SEMA is... In fact, is it on now? Or is it on next week? I can't remember. It's on roundabout now, anyway. But yeah, that does knock any show you'll ever see over here straight into a cocked hat. Although, if you're going to cock your hat, you kind of deserve everything you're going to get. SEMA's on now. Right, okay. You see, it wasn't too long ago I'd have known this. Press day was on the Tuesday. And I always thought, the one time I ever got to go, early 2000s, I thought, I'll go along to that on press day and I'll see the show before the crowds get in. Wrong. As I said, the show opened at 9, and if you'd have been on your marks, ready to start running at 9 a.m, and started running at 9 a.m, you would not have covered the whole show before they kicked you out at 5. Someone had a pedometer and walked over 8 miles. Oh, that does not surprise me. And this was back before they had reams and reams of outdoor displays and events. It was a monster. I don't know whether they still do, they used to rent out sort of, well, it started off as golf carts and then became sort of, what do they call them, rascals in the States, little mobility scooters, because it's a long way to walk. And there's me going, soft Americans. At the end of the day, I thought, bugger me, I wish I'd have rented a rascal. I don't doubt there is, Nick, but like I say, that's not a rabbit hole I can afford to go down at the moment. Between that and Death Week and everything else that's been happening, I'd end up sticking YouTube on and just writing off the rest of the day. So, no. Plus, all I'd do is look at it and go, right, you're making me ill now. It is an absolute monster of an event. I believe Owen Forrest, the Motor Addicts guy, is over there at the moment. That's SEMA. I also get the impression that a lot of the Death Week participants were heading to SEMA after Death Week, as in sort of on their way home, whether they lived in that direction or not. Either way, can't blame them. And again, looking out the window at the cold and the wind and the dark and the damp, bloody hell, Las Vegas really appealed. Actually, that's not true. I really did not get along with Las Vegas as a whole. It's like Las Vegas and Blackpool got into a dick measuring competition, and Las Vegas won by being the biggest dick. And if you go there and you have not got money to spend, I didn't enjoy it one bit. But there we go. And yeah, I can't remember. You got all these lovely glitzy hotels on the strip, and I was in a Motel 7 off the end of the strip in a bit of desert. And it's sort of like, when you open the door to the room and there's like a chalk outline on the floor, and there's some dirty works in the bathroom, and the sheets, you could basically lean the sheets up against the wall. Yeah. And all the people I was with were staying at the Bellagio or something like that. And yeah, I thought, bastards. I didn't enjoy it. The only part of that place I really, really enjoyed was the scrapyard, which was somewhere between Las Vegas Motor Speedway and the Strip. In a patch of desert in between the two, there was a scrapyard, and we saw it as we were driving past Motel 6 near the MDR. It wasn't near anything. Was it Motel 6 or something like that? It was one of these nasty arse cheap motels. And yeah, where there's blood on the windows at no extra charge. And yeah, I opped up and down and pestered like buggery for the person driving the pickup truck, in the bed of which I was sitting, to go to that scrapyard. And we went to that scrapyard, and being Nevada, every car in there was in better, more rust-free shape than anything I'd ever owned, which was depressing. But there were big 70s rancheros and stuff, not a patch of rust, other than that sort of lovely desert rust you get, not the horrible cornflakes rust that we get. And yeah, they're all in the scrapyard, up on bricks because the wheels have gone. And you just look at them and you think, I would have this back on the road in a day. And it was one of those you pull it yards, and frankly I nearly did. And they had a price list up, and it's like, for engines, $200. And every single one of these rancheros still had an engine in. Admittedly, most of them would have been, they were all smog motors and whatnot. $200. And at the time, I think people were bitching because the exchange rate had gone down to $1.50 to the pound. And, oh, bollocks, that's terrible. And I just thought, God, bloody blimey, hey ho. So that would be what, 130 odd pounds, but there. And this was before we wandered into a section of the yard we probably weren't supposed to wander into, and some Mexican-looking gentlemen with shotgun-looking things decided to ask us to go back into the other area of the yard. There was no language barrier there. I have a smattering of schoolboy Spanish. No, not a Spanish schoolboy. Get back in your bloody box. And can just about get by in a please can you direct me to the train station kind of way. But yes, when a large Mexican-looking gentleman carrying a shotgun uses it to point you back to where you should be, there is no language barrier. Don't know what was going on in that building. Probably don't wish to know. But yeah, like I say, I was heartbroken by rancheros and El Caminos, loads of them in there. There wasn't too much 60s stuff, but crammed with 70s stuff. And yeah, mind you, like I say, I am going back probably 20 years now. Hey ho. So I went to SEMA, I went to Las Vegas, was dead impressed by SEMA, not impressed by Vegas, but really impressed by a scrapyard, and would have moved in the following day. I'm not sure what that would have done to my visa. And I don't mean my credit card. I know exactly what it would have done to my credit card. Oh, and after that, the person driving the pickup insisted we go to Hooters. Hello, Ken. How you doing, mate? You all right? And I can't say I was impressed with the food. But that's the thing, when, you go to one of these Hooters type places and it's full of young, slim, beautiful women, just reminds you that you're old and fat and ugly. Para mí no ese hablo español. Brilliant. You're a loss to the diplomatic corps there. Afternoon, Ken. How we doing, mate? Was watching the World Cup. Oh, you mean rugby? I take it, or the World Cup of what? Um, what's on today? I have no idea. Right. So yeah, that was my one and only trip to SEMA. Never been back. Damn it. I have been a couple of times to the PRI show, and I like that a lot more. It's an import versus domestic drag racing. Ah, right, okay, understand. How's that going on, and where is that in uh, uh, Orlando? Yeah, frankly, Hooters, where I had my worst American meal ever. Yes. Go on, tell me what it was. I need to know now. Dos cervezas, por favor. That's the limit of my Spanish, and generally it's enough to get by. The best bet is just to learn the numbers and then insert number, cervezas, por favor. The Drag Racing World Cup would be my guess. Well, yes, but sorry, I was confused by thinking, well, there was a Rugby World Cup on at the weekend, wasn't there? I believe. We weren't in it, I believe. We being British or English or... Yes, it's English and the Welsh and... Anyway, I need to know what Nigel had at Hooters that was so terrible. Was it the meal that was awful, or was it the bill? Maryland. Maryland? I wouldn't have thought Maryland at this time of year would be... That's kind of northeast, isn't it? I thought they'd have been having similar weather to us, but shows you what I know. Because it wasn't it about this time of year that they used to hold the World Street Finals at Orlando? Another event that I never got to go to. Hooters. Burgers served in butter-soaked bread buns, dripping. Eh? Butter and dripping? They must have known you were from Yorkshire. Dripping and not in a good way. That does not appeal one little bit. Maryland, they do nice cookies. Oh boy. That whole import versus domestic thing, I'm glad to see that's happening, because it's always been kind of, you know, they do their events and we do our events, never the twain shall meet. And now it's kind of been to Hoovers. Oh, Hooters. Nottingham. Butter-soaked bread buns. Oh, Christ. Oh, Nigel, we're in the middle. Well, earlier we were in the middle of the standard issue, navigate your way around Britain by what the locals call a sort of a lump of bread. In Hooters in America, they do not call them cobs. In fact, if you ask for a cob in Hooters in America, Nige, was that in Orlando when we were at the World Street Finals cruise? Yes, that's it. Mark, it's about just random cars and nonsense. I've done Hooters in Nottingham too. Yeah, I haven't. I do know they do some American car events at Hooters in Nottingham. There we go. But even the draw of Hooters and American cars, not enough to overcome my fear of Nottingham. There we go. So, anybody else got anything going on? I mean, it used to be back in the day that street finals, World Street Finals. I mean, how long's that been gone now? Tiny car park though. Nottingham's all right. Yeah, I know. I'm only taking the mick. Got a cob on in Hooters more than once. A cob on or a lob on? No, sorry, I've got lost here now. Tiny car park. Well, why do they have an American car? A meeting of large cars and trucks in a place with a really tiny car park. It doesn't seem like they thought that all the way through. Any road, whatever. Yeah, I really don't have anything particularly against Nottingham. I was just throwing in a cheap gag. Oh, dear Lord. Right, okay. Please do tell me. Yes, yes, yes. I was also saying, how long ago was the last World Street Finals at Orlando? Because that used to be the sort of unofficial end of season summer holiday for British drag racers. And by all accounts, if you went along to that, there was quite a lot of. It was like a British enclave in the stands. And yeah, and then suddenly it wound up, didn't it? It sort of petered out, and I'm not sure exactly what happened. But yeah, like I say, I never got to go. I know, like, I know some people who went every year. I know a couple of people who'd been once, twice. Was that the event Frosty won? I don't know. I think it might have been, or I don't know if he won the event or he won his class or whatever. I think it might have been, yeah. And I mean, because it was, and I believe still is, bloody difficult to ship your car from the UK to the States for a short period because they want to make sure that you're not trying to dodge import duty or anything like that, and then you ship it back out again, and this. I'm not sure exactly what the score is, but oh, I got my pick against the famous wall, but no racing due to rain. Oh, bum gravy! That's dreadful. Yeah, so a lot of the Brits used to go to Orlando for that event, and it was a damn good event for like going along to, and people who used to run door slammers who wanted to learn what the latest sort of tricks were used to go to that event and find out. That event wound up, and there didn't seem to be one to really take its place. Not one big event. I mean, obviously there's lots of sort of door slammer races all over the place, but nothing with the draw of the World Street Finals, especially not as if you're going to the States and you want a cheap package holiday or not drag and drive, what do you call it, fly drive, Florida was the place. The last one I went to was 2012, although it was revamped a few years ago, but it was more imports than domestic. It's a drag strip, surely it doesn't matter, but whatever. Where was I going with all that shit? Yeah, so, the Florida end of. Oh, and of course, it happened out of our season, which certainly appealed to anybody who was competing in the UK series. And it was a bloody nice time of year to go to Florida because, well, look at a window, for instance. And yeah, nothing seems to have really jumped in and taken its place, which is a shame. I'd say that there was, still a gap in the market for that. I suppose the nearest thing that's taken its place is Malta. I mean, that happens at the end of this month. I think is it the last full weekend in November? Yeah, well, yeah, quite. And yeah, there seems to be an increasing number of Brits going over to that. I would have liked to have been one of them. And yeah, I mean, in fact, talking to Nick, oh God Almighty, yeah, talking to Nick at the weekend, and I found because I can't take time off work, but I do half a day on a Friday. I thought that if I started early on the Friday, I could finish early. I could be on the 1 o'clock flight to Malta on Friday afternoon from Birmingham Airport. And there's one back on Sunday night at 8 o'clock in the evening. I thought I could weekend it to Malta. And I looked online and I found I could get a hotel for just like Friday night, Saturday night, just room only or room and breakfast or whatever, and flights for 100 quid. No, it was 109 quid. But the hotel was in St Julian's Bay. And I looked on Google Maps and I was like, tits. St Julian's Bay is directly the other corner of the island from Half Hour Raceway. And then I looked at how far it was, and it's about 12 miles. Because, I don't know if you know this, but Malta is tiny. I kind of knew this, but I didn't realise how tiny until I thought to walk it from one corner to the other would probably take me almost until lunchtime. 3 weeks tomorrow. Bloody hell. Make me honk. But yes, as it happens, other shite has transpired to leave me potless, so I will not be going. However, I know a couple of you, and a couple of you are, and I wish you safe travels. Yes. So. Oh, and apparently, yes, according to Nick, their finals, the biggest event of the year, their finals is a 3-dayer, oh no, a 4-dayer. Sorry, it's a 4-day event, and tickets to get in are €10 a day. So that's €30 for the full weekend, or it was last time. And I thought, €30 for the full weekend. That's like what, 27 quid. That's not bad. I could just about stretch to that. Although I could save myself the price of a pint by just buying the 2-day tickets, and which would come to what, 18 quid. And yes, the idea of going to somewhere a bit sunnier than here, which is frankly anywhere, really, really appeals. You never know. I might win the lottery tomorrow. I haven't bought a ticket, so it's unlikely, but you never know. Or some incredibly wealthy relative who I didn't know existed might shuffle off and leave me a fortune. Who knows? Ooh, ring piece. Right. Yes, other than that, not a lot has happened. All that has happened. Oh, yeah, I was getting really, really annoyed yesterday with divots on Facebook Marketplace. Did you see that little sort of cut and paste thing I put up that was taken from a genuine advert for an old Cadillac? And it said the car was listed for £1,234, which is a very, very common price at the moment. And in the advert it says, oh, the price up there is not what the car's for sale for. And gibbered on and on and on about tyre kickers and time wasters, without ever actually saying how much the car is up for sale for. I know what they're worth, and I've looked in America, and I know what they sell for in America, and I've had it valued and appraised, but I'm still not going to tell you what the price is, and please don't waste my time. Why not? You've just wasted mine reading this advert. And has saying no time wasters please ever dissuaded one single time waster? Or is it just a waste of 3 words? Because it's like the Sixth Sense, you know, I see time wasters. They just walk around like regular people. They don't even know that they're time wasters. Lots of cheap scam cars on there. Oh, yeah. I mean, generally, you can just about spot them. But I mean, when it's like a 4-year-old Dodge Challenger for £5,000, you've got to think either I'm the luckiest person alive, all I've got to do is send a deposit to this PayPal address in Cameroon, or it's a scam. Yeah, there's loads of them out there. But hey ho, saw it. Yeah, so has putting no time wasters please ever put, have you ever put that in an advert? These smashed up ex-Dubai cars too. Yeah, there was one company that seemed to be importing quite a lot of them. They'd buy them from Copart or something, because Copart had branches in Oman and yeah, I think it was Dubai. And they'd buy up these wrecked cars, ship them over here, fix them up, or probably fix them up over there, ship them over here, and punt them on, and I believe that because they'd come from the Middle East, there was no sort of like Carfax report or anything that could tell you that it had been written off. And there was quite a few out there. But apparently, some people I spoke to were saying, or saw what they'd said online, was saying the repairs aren't all that. They stand out a mile. And if you've got your eyes open, you can see that the paint match is awful and this sort of thing. Whatever. But they are out there. But unfortunately, yeah, shysters are out there to take your money for just about anything, never mind just expensive American cars. Bastards. But yes, the words "no time wasters, please" do not put off the time wasters. I know this. And also, anybody who says just testing the water, is the bastard thing for sale then or not? Because anybody who says that, yeah, and they're mechanically ruined too. Yeah. Because anybody who says that, here's a clue. Your water is about to get polluted. Because the only people who will respond to an advert that says just testing the water, absolute chancers and time wasters. Sorry. Any road. Ooh, let me bring peace on this bloody chair. For sale by a friend, not on Facebook. Yes, there's a lot of that about as well. Considering that I believe there are now more people on Facebook than in China, that is going some. There are 1 billion people on Facebook, and I believe. And but your mate isn't. Pain. Right. Well, like I say, I've got nothing. So if you have anything to chip in with, please do so. Oh, we are, Ken. You might know this. That Fox Mustang, is Tom planning to bring it back from Death Week, or is he going to leave it in the States or sell it on in the States or what? Because yeah, it didn't it didn't seem to be the most reliable car, but he bought that blind off of Facebook, didn't he? Or was it Facebook or Racing Junk or something like that? And it looks like he had a really, really good time. I've got a ticket for Malta. Send me. Nice. Does Carol know you're selling a ticket? Also, I'm not going to turn up to the airport with a passport that says Carol going to be on it. Not yet. He's got more events to do. More events. Oh, right. Bring a trailer. That's what I was thinking. I'm not Racing Junk, but that's quite cool. However, I appreciate the offer, Nick. I really do. But like I say, I think I think cheap ticket or otherwise, I think I'll have to have some remarkably large brass conkers to bugger off for the weekend right about now. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. You never know. So, is he staying out there or what, Ken? Because I don't get the I don't get it with him. Is he out there for long periods? Needs a turbo steering rack and he wants to stick swap it. Really? Okay. Mind you, if it's a drag and drive car, I suppose 2-speeder is it's a bit more strip orientated than street, but stick swap, really? Well, it's his car. He can do as he sees bloody fit. Right, does anybody have anything else to chip in? Because if not, I'm going to sod off. Like I say, between getting up before the sparrows are farting and scratching themselves every damn day this week, not only have I got to do it again tomorrow, I've volunteered to do it again on Saturday. On Sunday, I'll get a lie in. I can stay until about 7. So, if anybody else has got anything to add, please do so right about now. It's off to storage. He's flying home right now. Oh, right. Okay, there you go. Well, nice one. I don't think I've ever met him. And I think, oh, 'tis that time. 'Tis the time of year to get big conkers. Yes, and what happens to big conkers? Somebody bodges a hole through them with a really, really sharp thing. That doesn't appeal. Added to which, this weather and big conkers do not go together. Go out in this weather with big conkers and you'll soon find them very, very small conkers. Ordered car parts today, other shiny bits arriving tomorrow. Ooh, that sounds nice. Ooh, anything exciting, or are we talking dull, necessary car parts? He was with Graham and Rachel on Street Weekend, but then none of us saw them. Ah, yes, they were running a little behind the main pack, as I recall. Pisser, yes. But there we go. Can't beat ordering car parts. It's like it's far more reliable than a letter to Santa. Yeah, no, head, stroker, crank, and suspension bits. Ooh, I may have to go off some alone time. Nice, yummy, and in time for Christmas as well, so you can wrap them up for yourself. On that night, sick the mag lands. On that note, sick the mag lands very soon with Street Weekend. I thought it already landed that. But anyway, yes. So as Nick says, I am buggering off. So I need my beauty sleep, as you can tell, because I mean, look at this face. Look at these bags under my eyes. It looks like my nose has got a fucking saddle on. So I need my beauty sleep. Not that even if I had all the sleep in the world, I'd wake up looking like anything other than the back of my own scrotum. But I'm off. So thank you very, very much for joining in. Probably going to be back here, same place next week. I didn't bother teaming it up with Facebook because for the last 2 times I've tried it, I haven't been able to see any comments people have posted. I suspect that's because my other phone that I was using is very, very old and is one of those, oh, your updates are no longer available. So bugger it, frankly. I'm due an upgrade. Oh, next month. So we'll see what happens then. In the meantime, thank you very, very much for coming along. I really do appreciate it. It's been quite amusing. And yes, back here same time next week. Whatever you're doing this weekend, have fun. Don't get blown and battered by Kieran. He's a dirty bugger. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot. Good night. Bye-bye.